Today on Outside the Box Reviews, we are taking a look at the NECA Pacific Rim Series 3, the Jaeger section of the series, and this is Coyote Tango. Coyote Tango, of course, is not really in the movie that much. He's one of the Mark I Jaegers, one of the very first out of the gate. Actually, ironically, both Jaegers in this wave are Mark Is. And this was the Jaeger piloted by Stacker Pentecost, played by Idris Elba in the film, and his co-pilot, Tamsin Sevier. I don't really know how you'd pronounce that, but she was in the prequel comic, which kind of ruined things for the movie for me because there's some serious foreshadowing done with her character and what's going to happen to Pentecost later on in the film. Or through the course of the film, really, but revealed towards the end of the film. But this is unique because NECA has hit all the major Jaegers from the film, so now we're starting to get kind of the B characters, the ones that just made cameos, which is pretty exciting because it'll give us some more diversity. And as with all of these figures so far and really bringing forth that Wave 3 feel, Coyote Tango is beautifully designed. I love the head on him, very well detailed. The big blue windows in here. We see kind of the mechanical gears going on in his big shoulder pads. A very angular chest. It makes sense with these that the Mark Is would be kind of more streamlined or jet looking. So it is kind of the sharp angles and everything, but looks really good. It's mostly this silvery gray with some coppery browns thrown in and then some red striping going on. It does have marked on the chest USAF. As far as I know, that stands for U.S. Air Force, even though Coyote Tango is claimed to be the Japanese Jaeger. We know that he was definitely in Japan because we see that in the film, but there is a little bit of debate going on between people of kind of where this came from and why it has USAF stamped on the front. But lots of great detail. He gets really skinny here in the middle, then comes back out for his hips. Legs are pretty cool, very boxy looking, some big vents, these very large knee kind of pauldrons on there. He almost looks like he has back bent knees, kind of like Crimson Typhoon, but it's really just that his legs kind of offset. And he has these very long feet. You can see a lot of detail on the bottom. No peg holes on this one anymore, but lots of great detail. Kind of these little razor looking things here in the back of the heel. Some more great sculpting work back here. Just lots of little mechanical bits and pieces. We got some pistons up here at the top. The kind of round cylinder drum looking pieces that are its hip joints. We have the kind of almost steampunky looking spine. It has all these little smokestack looking things coming out the middle. And then we have the big old cannons on here. Very nicely detailed, very cool looking. It's all pretty much the same colors in here, but they did a lot of great sculpting on this figure. And then of course these cannons will rotate forward on the shoulders. You can get them to go fairly far forward, so they're almost pointing down at the ground. But you get some good rotation out of them. You can do some cool posing with them. Mine looked a little warped when I got them in package, but in reality, they don't look too bad. They look decent enough, but I have seen some people get theirs that are really, really warped. The arms, he kind of has another big cylinder-style joint up here at the very top, and they're very boxy arms, just like the legs. Kind of has this extra chunk sticking out here in back. I assume this is some kind of weapon or something. And then both hands are tight fists, and I like the look of it. The very robot-y looking fingers just kind of clamping down on themselves. I think it's a good look. For articulation, as I already mentioned, he does have the swivel on both these cannons. The head is on a ball joint. Look up, down, side to side, but very limited because he's very tightly jointed inside there. The arms are on a double ball joint, so they are ball jointed at the actual arm, and then also at the shoulder. So you get a decent range out of them, but it's very, very tight. You can swivel at the upper bicep, and the elbow does move, but we don't get as good of a range out of it as I would have liked. I wish you could bend closer to 90 degrees, but the shape of the arm just won't allow it. The hand is on a ball joint as well, actually a double ball joint, so you can get it in all different poses, all different angles. Ball joint at the mid-torso, so he goes forward and back, tilts to the side, rotates, all the good stuff. Great range there. The legs do have a decent range of motion, but it's very hindered by these big hips on them. You can go very far back, but forward, you kind of have to start turning the leg to get it to go forward. You will also go a little in and out to the side, not as much as I would like. We could swivel at the upper leg, but it's very tight on my figure, plus you kind of end up moving the ball joint before you move the leg joint. There's a decent range on his knee. And then we have a ball joint at the foot, so we can move it forward and back and kind of pivot the ankle and all that good stuff. And overall, I really, really like the look of Coyote Tango here. I read on the Pacific Rim wiki that he's based off of the gun cannon from the original Gundam series, and that was like my favorite mech out of that whole series. He also reminds me a lot of, I used to be really into Armored Core on the PS2, I think it was Armored Core 2, and one of my main suits had the same kind of shoulder cannons. It's just a staple of giant robot movies and giant robot fiction. And I think it's a really cool aesthetic. I wish the articulation worked a little better on this figure, but I'm going to give him a recommendation because he's very neat looking. Very well sculpted and very well detailed in the paint department. I can understand, however, that there probably will be a lot of people that won't grab this figure just because he's barely in the movie. I think most people are going to be happy with the main four. The Gypsy Danger, the Striker Eureka, the Crimson Typhoon, and the Cherno Alpha. I think once people get those, a lot will be done. But I am so far from done on this line, so I'm very, very willing to start adding these kind of B-level Jaegers to my collection. And if NECA wants to put out some more of the ones that kind of cameoed in the beginning of the movie, I'd be all for that. Make sure you check me out on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also check me out on Facebook, link below. And until next time, so then our Outside the Box Reviews, stay tuned for more to come. And why is my computer screaming in Spanish? What the